kind of an update on my current lucid dream experience, or experiment, excuse me. Um, it's the outside stimulus and what the outside stimulus does on a lucid dream. And so far, what's really interesting, the last time that I had the outside experience, uh, um, or I should say the influence on my dream based on what is happening on the outside of my dream. Obviously, it's Christmas. Christmas is coming up, and um, I wanted my wife to read to me the night before Christmas, and two things actually has happened since she started reading this book, and I typically do this for, it'll be one book per week, and really early on, my dream actually started out, it was close to starting out as being lucid, and what ended up happening is obviously she came into the room and started reading this book at a low voice. It was just enough for me to hear it, because if she talks too loud, it typically wakes me up. If it's too soft, I can't hear it over the fan. So it's at a voice that it's just perfect. It's right down the middle. And what was interesting is that obviously, or I believe, I was already lucid, and she started reading the book, and I acknowledged that the book was being read. I knew that she was in the room. I knew that she was reading this book, and what it actually did was change the way that the dream was actually happening. And what was even more interesting is there's a movie, Chevy Chase, Christmas Vacation. It's kind of a classic. I love the movie, but I put myself, I don't know if it was willful or not, but I put myself in the living room of that house when he was actually reading it. And I'm just kind of sitting around, and all the characters from the movie are in this room. And as she's reading it, the words are kind of coming out of his mouth. It's hard to explain. I was fully aware, but I had less control, or at least I lost control. And so anyway, the book was read, and once the book had been read, then I ended up just waking up right after that, and that is something that's been happening. As soon as she's done reading the book, I wake up. I don't know what it is. It's almost like my dream decides it wants to end, and I've tried a couple of times to stay sleeping, but it doesn't seem to work as well. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I'm working on that as being another experiment, but so basically, the outside stimulus can have a couple of effects. If I am having a regular dream, some of the images and some of the words will fall into the dream, and I'll sort of start dreaming about that, but I won't be aware that I'm dreaming about it. If I'm already lucid, then what ends up happening is the dream is integrated. I'm aware of it, and images and pictures and places and sounds and smells start to be drawn in unwillfully, in a way. And I don't seem to have as much control over this dream. I don't know if that's typical, but even with a lucid dream, as much control as I usually have over these, it's ironic that I lose control while I'm lucid dreaming. So, that I am just about done with that experiment. Right now we're on the reading portion. I did the sound portion already, and now I kind of we're going forward to smells, and that's kind of weird, but actually she's going to bring some incense into the room, put it under my nose, and see if that affects. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to see how my five senses, obviously not sight being one of them, but my four other senses, how they kind of affect the dream from the outside. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm really looking forward to continuing this experiment because it seems to have some pretty interesting results. So, that's it for that.